Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel Mission More Money, where we talk about all things making more money. I'm so excited to show you that my product has finally arrived and my online business has launched. This of course isn't all of the product that I have, but I have it here because I'm getting ready to make another marketing video and I wanted to demonstrate the different sizes that I'm offering in tumblers. So I'm really excited. You can see here, I really like this product. This one is my favorite. Let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to talk to you about the 5 things that you should be prepared for when starting an online business. This is not in any particular order. I think that they are all equally important, but let's go ahead and get started with number 1. Make sure that you have the appropriate space for your inventory. I have mentioned before in other videos that I purposely shopped with suppliers that offered low MOQs because I currently live in a 2-bedroom apartment and I have a now 9-month-old son. You who know about babies or who have babies or who have had babies know that they take up a lot of space. So I needed to make sure that my MOQ could be small. I had to make sure that the product itself was of course not very big, and then I had to also make sure that I had the space to house these items. I am not going to lease a building anytime soon in the near future, and the purpose of me starting this whole online business side hustle is for me to generate extra income, which I would be taking a lot out of my own pocket if I were to lease a building to house more products. So I'm happy with what I have right now. I have the appropriate space for it. It isn't in the way for my things or for my son's things. It's just not in the way at all. The other thing is that this is kind of just a reality check for all of us. When you are first launching your business, most likely you are going to be holding on to that inventory for quite a while. And I know that that stings. It stings for me to say it out loud too, but that is the reality. Number 2 on my list is making sure that you check your inventory. Check for any defects, any scratches, anything that seems like it is not normal. And also make sure that it is clean. You want to make sure that your product is ready to be shipped off once an order is placed. The reason why it is really good for you to check through your inventory when it comes to checking for defects, for anything that isn't normal, for it being really dirty, for any scratches or anything that is broken, is you want to know the amount of inventory that you truly have to work with. You may have ordered an MOQ of 50 or 100 or 500, whatever it is, whatever you have appropriate spacing for. But if half of that is damaged, you won't be able to sell it. So going through your inventory is a way of making sure that you know the amount of inventory that you really have on hand that you are able to sell. Number 3 is give yourself more time than you will think you need when it comes to setting up your online store. I'm going through Shopify. The reason why I picked Shopify is because for their first month, they have a $1 trial, and they seem to just be the most accessible to other platforms and other applications that you can install through the website. I like Shopify, however, it is not the most intuitive to use in my opinion. I've seen tutorials on YouTube where they talk about Shopify as if it's really simplistic, and personally I just don't think that it is. I've used other platforms before for selling when I was doing drop shipping that I thought was a lot more straightforward and easy to use. The best piece of advice that I can give you with Shopify, if you too think that it isn't very user-friendly, is to use it on a desktop if you can, or maybe a tablet, not on the cell phone, because I was trying to set up on my cell phone initially, and it just seems like everything is hidden kind of, and it was really difficult for me to use. I wasn't a fan. But on top of that, even if you think that Shopify is the best thing since sliced bread and it's really easy for you to use, there are other things that you're gonna have to do throughout your day. For me, for example, I am a parent to a 9-month-old baby, and I always need extra time for anything that I'm doing. I always have to make sure that I'm allotting myself extra time because babies are unpredictable. Babies need us. I'm always busy, I'm always occupied, I'm always needed for the most part, unless it's nap time like it is right now, which is why I can do this. It honestly took me just about an entire day to get my Shopify store set up, and I attribute that to being a combination of Spotify not being so simple to use, using it first on my cell phone instead of on a desktop. Once I decided to open up my laptop and use it there, it was a little bit easier because I could just see more than I could on my cell phone. I had my son the entire day, and babies. The other reason why it took a while too is because that same day I decided to purchase for a very cheap amount, for $1.49 for the first year from GoDaddy. I purchased a domain. And then I transferred my domain from GoDaddy to Shopify, which again is why I say that it just seems like Shopify is so much more accessible generally to other platforms. But anyways, in transferring my domain to Shopify, there were issues with, I think it's called the CN or something of that sort. I'm really not a technical, I'm good at computers, but I'm really not into the nitty-gritty technical interweb stuff. So I don't recall this off the top of my brain. I'll just put the screenshot up here of what I'm talking about. But there were a lot of issues with the domain when it came to that, and Spotify gives you instructions on how to fix it, and then you have to go back to where you purchased the domain. In my case, it was GoDaddy, and you have to do something with the CN and add these different numbers and put Shopify on there, and it was a trip for me, and it was a big learning curve, and it wasn't something that I was expecting. So I'm just putting this forth here so that it's something that you can consider, that this might be an issue for you as well if you choose to purchase your own domain, which you do not have to do. But I decided to do that to be unique and to make it seem more professional and real and legitimate. Just me. Number 4 is have social media posts already up and running and ready to post. I didn't do any pre-marketing, but I did set up my social media accounts on Facebook. I made a Facebook page for my business. I also made an Instagram, and I made a TikTok as well. I created all 3 of those probably 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. So they've been kind of just sitting there for a while. And I have went through them to kind of browse so that they don't seem like they are dormant accounts. So I have been active on them, I just haven't been posting. I had mentioned before that I wasn't going to be doing any pre-marketing because I didn't have my product, and I didn't want to post pictures because those just don't seem to do it anymore on social media. Everybody wants the short form vertical content, and that is true with TikTok, with Instagram Reels, and with Facebook Reels, at least from what I have seen in my experience in doing print on demand and drop shipping. Something that I once read, and I don't know if this is true, but it does make a lot of sense in other accounts that I have had for TikTok when I have done my print on demand and drop shipping. If you set up a TikTok account specifically and you start posting that same day, TikTok is still trying to figure out, I guess, if you're some type of a scam account, and so they don't really push your content, and they don't put it on the For You page, which of course is where your content really gets seen by the rest of the world. I don't know if that's true. That is something that I read once before, and I've read all kinds of stuff on how to master the TikTok algorithm, the Instagram Reel algorithm, and you know, everybody has something different to say. And so I think that the best solution really is to just be as creative as you can and to make videos that you yourself like and that you yourself would enjoy watching, hoping that it lands on the right For You page. I want you to have your social media accounts already set up and ready to go because, as I said previously, creating your online store will likely take more time than you think it will, as will going through your inventory. Time is of the essence, and we cannot predict ever how long something is going to take, especially when we are new, especially when we have never went through inventory before, when we haven't set up a store before. And I have set up stores before through drop shipping and print on demand, but this was different. This was something that I was very proud of. This is something that I really wanted to get right. As I mentioned, I bought a domain to make my store unique and more professional, and I did not do that previously with print on demand and drop shipping because I did not have the inventory and because I didn't know if it was going to work out. And so I was just very, I think, hesitant with anything like that. I couldn't jump all in. Now I'm jumping all in because this is my stuff and I want it to sell, and so to speak, this is kind of my other baby. And do not come for me in the comments. Yes, my son is the most important, but you get what I'm saying. This is my other baby. This is something else that I'm going to help grow, that I'm going to nurture, that I'm going to love, and that I hope will turn out to be really great one day. Number 5 is beware of scammers. They are out there, they are hungry, and they are coming for you, you new little account with no followers. Unfortunately, that is the world that we live in. Whether it is online or in real life, there are scammers, there are people who steal, there are people who are fake, and there are people who are out to get you. You just have to have your detector on, you have to be smart, and you have to use common sense. So I think that what happened to me is a great example. I was not scammed because thankfully I was really thinking about and considering what this person was saying, and it did not make any sense. And I will go ahead and show you here some screenshots that I took of our conversation just to give you an example. This person, first of all, when I looked at their profile, they only had about 39 friends, which not that that's a bad thing. I'm not shaming anybody for not having 1,000 friends on Facebook, but it was that in addition to they had their profile picture, which had only been uploaded 2 or 3 days ago. They had no posts whatsoever. There were no likes or comments on their profile picture. And it also just seemed like something that was meant to kind of pull at your heartstrings. It was a picture of 2 elderly women and it said, "I love you, Mom." And so I'm thinking, okay, you're trying to make yourself seem like you're very innocent and are not somebody who would be trying to take advantage of me, as you see that I am a new account and a new business on Facebook. So I have been posting reels as I've been making marketing content, and I had one that was actually successful and had a pretty far outreach, which I was really happy about. And this account messages me, the person that I'm describing, and they start telling me that they don't trust online stores, that they can't make a purchase through my online store because they had a bad experience before. And they said, "Well, can you just tell me how much your product is?" And I said, "Sure." And I sent them the price. And then they sent me their address, like a full address. And I looked it up on Google and it was a legitimate address, but it was still just odd. I mean, who does that? And they were saying, "Well, how much would it be with shipping?" And I said, "Well, at checkout, your shipping will be calculated automatically." I said, "My guesstimate is somewhere between $6 and $9 is likely what it'll cost, but please go through the process, and once you check out, it'll calculate the shipping for you." So they repeated again that they didn't want to go through the store. And I said, "Well, I don't know how else to process your order for you and collect payment." And the person sends me a message back and says, "Oh, well, I have Zelle and I have Cash App and I have PayPal and I have something else. And do you have any of those?" And I'm just like, no, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, come on, why would you don't trust an online store because of a bad experience that you had before, but you trust me enough to send me your address, and then you want to Zelle me money and trust me enough to ship it off to you after you send me a Zelle payment? Anyways, all of that is for the birds. I told the person, "I'm sorry, you have to go through the store if you want to make a purchase," and I did not hear from them again. More than certain that that was fraud, that was some type of a scam. And so I want to put this out here because it is very difficult when you're new. These vultures can tell that you're new because your account does not have a lot of followers, does not have a lot of likes, it doesn't have a lot of reviews. And so it's very obvious that you're new and that you're a young business. And so they want to swoop in and take advantage of that. And you are not going to let them because you watched my video, obviously, because you're smart and you have common sense. But I just want to put this out here because it's really difficult when you have something like this and you're really excited and you're thinking, "Oh, this could be my first sale," and it's a scam. And you just have to always keep your filter ready, and you have to just be aware that unfortunately in this world there are people who want to take advantage and want to scam. Even if you had a storefront business, there are people who scam, there are people who steal. So it's just something that you have to get your armor on and get ready. But that's just what I wanted to put out. And that concludes my 5 things to be prepared for when starting an online business. I hope this was helpful to you, and best of luck with all of the things that you have going on. Whatever it is that you are getting into, whatever it is that you are starting up, I wish the best for you. And again, I hope that this was helpful. Thank you. Take care.